Cody, it's been an absolute minute, man.
Yes, it has.
As you all know, I am Mr. 713. Joined by me is a face we haven't seen in almost a full year, Mr. Cody Johnson. Welcome back to the channel, man. How's it been?
Appreciate you having me on, man. It's been good. Been busy, but it's been good.
So, 219, how you feel so far? Because we really haven't heard you're taking a long minute. How do you feel so far about this horrible season we're having?
It's what I expected, so I don't. I mean, I've made it known that I want a high pick to start this rebuild, so I'm not really worried about it. What happens, happens. Just trying to get to draft season, honestly, without freaking out too much about it.
Do you agree with the Davis Cully decision to start Tyrod Taylor?
I had been I say start Davis Mills, but again, at this point, I'm not really worried about it. I can see the decision of him not being completely ready yet. He wasn't ready to play at all this season, so it is what it is. I think we're going to lose most of these games either way, but yeah, I would like to see some what we have in Mills, to say the least.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and do the draft. Now, we obviously chose the Texans. Are we still rocking with Miami, even though Tua's been playing pretty good lately?
For me, that's what I've been doing on the mock drafts I have done just by myself. Just because we know he wants to go there, he's open to go there, and we know their owner wants him. So until we get more information about him opening up to different spots, that's what I'd say we do.
Yeah, and we're gonna go ahead and do just 3 rounds today. As we get towards the end, we could really start digesting, the later rounds that we've done before. But what do you think's our biggest need so far for the Texans? What do we need to focus on the draft, Cody?
We need just about everything. That's what's great about this draft is you can literally go best player available at any pick. Um, because everything's a need. Um, at pick two, though, like anything other than a quarterback is, or a running back, quarterback, running back is what I'd say, because I just don't think there's a quarterback worth taking in the top 10, even.
I don't think so either, but I think this is kind of a no-brainer. I think after his crazy game against Ohio State, if the Houston Texans do have the number two, I don't know how you don't go Aidan Hutchinson, man.
Yeah, I agree. I've been saying he's going top two or top three at least, depending on who ends up at two. So I definitely agree with that. He went off against Ohio State. Second, I mean, some people argue he's the best edge in the class, but it's a 1A, 1B kind of situation with him and Thibodeau.
Hmm. Now, the idea of having Jonathan Grenard, who's been an absolute stud, this year, pairing him alongside, with Aiden Hutchinson, sounds like something that could excite a lot of people.
Oh, definitely.
Now, we'll potentially pick 21. I do think the Houston Texans still need to focus on defense. I do like, Devin Lloyd out of Utah, but I think cornerback is a huge need. Now, you put me on. You've been talking about Andrew Booth lately a lot. Just give us a bit on him.
Yeah, so I like all three of those guys right there at the top.
Yeah.
But I do think Andrew Booth is who I would go with here. I think he could end up being the best corner in the class. He's more versatile to me than Stingley or Elam, and
From Florida.
especially Gardner. Um, can play both man and zone. You know, he's not the best press man corner. If you want to go that route, it's Stingley or Elam in that sense. But for us, if we're sticking with this system, zone corner. He's the best zone corner in the class from what I've seen so far. And he can play man if that's what we switch to. Now he's just super. He's athletic, but made. I'm sorry. He is really, really. What's the word I'm looking for? Not athletic, but a lot of burst. I guess we can say he
Yeah.
flies to the ball as soon as it's either caught or if it's a run, great and run fits. So I
Great
really like
reactions.
Booth. Like I said, I think he could be the top best corner coming out of the class.
I agree. Now, it's kind of hard to pass up Tyler Lindenbaum, though. You know, Now I'm not going to take him, even though I would love to take Tyler Linderbaum. How would you feel if the Texans landed him? He's supposed to be a generational type center. Dude is crazy athletic. Dude is crazy fast. What's your thoughts on Tyler Linderbaum?
Dude, I don't. Yeah, like I said, I don't have a problem with any of those three guys if they think that's the best player available. Linderbaum is probably the best interior offensive lineman in the class, maybe other than the guy out of A&M. But I would love that pick. Solidify your center position. You have what should be two tackles already on the roster. You improve the O line, which we thought was supposed to be better, but it really hasn't been. I don't have a problem with that pick at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and actually go just Linderbaum here since we did go. Aidan Hutchinson. I do like Justin Britt, but when you have a generational type center for the next 10+ years, I don't know how you don't take that. Now you had a great take on Tunsil. Share with the
Yeah.
class what how you feel about his situation.
So I don't mind trading him is my thing. Obviously, it has to be for the right price. What is he? He's about to be 27 after this year, I believe.
Hmm.
If you're trading him, you're likely getting another first. And I think this tackle class isn't. I don't want to say it's super strong, but it's not weak either. So, like, if you want to replace him, I don't think that's such a bad idea. And like I said, you're probably getting another first. But mainly, it's tackles can play longer, but you're starting a rebuild. I don't think he re-signs regardless after this is up, unless we just make a major jump next year after his contract's up. So trade him while you can is my thing. If you getting the right offer.
Bet. So like you're looking more towards the future type stuff. Now at pick 34, which the Houston Texans could potentially have. We have Daxton Hill available. I'm looking at Nakobe Dean from Georgia. Dude's very fast, sneaky fast, great coverage skills. I love Crew J Hill. I love Zach Cunningham. I mean, I know we were trying to trade him at the deadline. Wouldn't mind replacing him with Nakobe Dean.
Yeah, I like Dean. I do worry about his size though. The next level,
He's
they say, or he's listed as 6 foot, but I
yeah,
mean, he looks even smaller than that
he's
on
five,
film.
almost 5'10".
Yeah, yeah. So, I like him, but there's a guy like Jameson Williams, the
Yes,
wide receiver from Alabama, right there, who I feel like is probably a perfect fit.
6'2" dude.
Next, yeah, next to in the slot, specifically next to Nico Collins. Wouldn't mind going that route. Who am I looking at here? I know we have another pick coming up.
Yeah, we have a pick at 42. That's why I'm kind of looking at Jordan Battle as well, the safety from Alabama. Um,
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind going skill position, and this is what's I think going to be very good for the Houston Texans. Because we're going to have so many draft picks. I wouldn't mind taking a Jameis Williams. Here. Someone who could potentially help Davis Mills develop.
right. And Zach, like, how much longer is Cooks going to be here?
Exactly.
So I'm completely fine with taking him there.
We're
His
gonna have a lot
frame
of
is a little
picks,
bit
dude.
smaller, but uh, that doesn't seem to bother GMs as much anymore.
Okay, at 42, Nakobe Dean, Christian Harris, John Metchie, the top three. Um, Kenny Pickett is at 43. How do you feel about Kenny Pickett from Pittsburgh?
I haven't watched a whole lot of quarterbacks
Hmm.
this year so far because I really honestly just don't want to take one at all.
Yeah.
I figure we should wait till next year or the year after that. So I couldn't really give you an answer. A name I do like there though is Brandon Smith, the linebacker out of Penn
Hmm.
State. Kind of raw. He won't be a Mike linebacker like Nakobe Dean would be. He would be an outside linebacker, probably a Will, maybe a Sam, but he is super raw and athletic and pretty solid in coverage. Is kind of what we needed from the linebacker position. So I don't have a problem going that route either with Brandon Smith, Nakobe Dean. Um,
A name that excites me is Kenneth Walker the third, the guy out of Michigan. It's been a long time, man, since the Houston Texans had a dynamic running back, a shifty running back who's
Yeah,
been
I like
tearing it
Kenneth
up.
Walker too. I don't know if I like him at pick 42 though.
No, especially with Isaiah Spiller, the guy from A&M. I really like his frame and speed. But I'm gonna go ahead and take, like your guy Brandon Smith out of Penn State since we went ahead and take Lindenbaum. How we looking so far in this draft? You like it?
Yeah, I do like it a lot. You've addressed both sides of the ball. Front seven on defense, you address the line on offense, and you get another receiver for whoever the quarterback's going to be for the future. So I like it so far.
How do you feel about Nico, man?
I really like what at Michigan they used him a lot on deep routes, which he's good at, but they never really opened up his route tree. So say what you want about Tim Kelly, at least he's doing that for him. Getting him on different kinds of routes and stuff. So I do like that.
And at pick 66, we have, we talked about my guy Isaiah Spiller, the running back. Let's see what we've had so far. I kind of forgot. We took Aidan Hutchinson. We took fixed the offensive line. We grabbed a wide receiver. Now we have a linebacker. What are you thinking here? Should we go best player available or just needs for the Houston Texans?
Yeah, I think I don't know. It's tough. I'm looking at the names on the board. Like you said Isaiah Spiller's there. I like him.
Kyron Williams out of
Demario,
Notre Dame is damn good too.
yeah, Williams is good. Demarion Overshone, I like, but he will probably play the same position as Smith. I don't know. What do you think there? Here, scroll down a little bit, see what other names. I'm just curious where we're at with.
Definitely some talent.
Okay, no. Yeah, okay, you can scroll back up. I don't know. What are you thinking? What are you thinking here, Ruben?
I'm really thinking running back because we did get Tyler Noma, we did get a wide receiver. I love what the defense has been doing this year. I do think if Nick Casario potentially has another off season where he gets a lot of these 1 year contracts again, I think you could potentially go somewhere like a running back here. When you take one at in round 3, there's nothing wrong with that, especially when you have a pick, the pick from the Saints, right? Number 86. I'm thinking you could go somewhere like an Isaiah Spiller here. The only question is, do we want a shifty small running back like a Zach Carbonet from UCLA or the guy from Notre Dame, or do you want a 6'2" guy like Isaiah Spiller?
Man, at that point, it just depends on who the OC is, really. Is it going to be Kelly again? Because if it's Kelly again, Isaiah Spiller all day. But if we go a different route where we want to run more outside zone or stuff like that, then maybe we could go a different route like the cat from UCLA. I would probably stick with Spiller.
I would too.
Just
I
to
mean, he's
get
from Texas, man.
your big goal line kind of back, short yardage kind of back, but they can also do a lot of the other stuff as well.
Hey, how do you feel about that third round pick that the Saints gave us for
Oh,
Roby?
I like, especially if they keep losing. I completely agree with it. I didn't think Bradley Roby was staying here after his contract was up either. So again, another one of those deals where trade him while you can, and I'm completely okay with what they decided to do.
We got pick 86 here. A lot of tight ends on the board. We definitely don't want to take a tight end. Well, I mean, do you? I don't see Farrell Brown being here next year. I don't see Jordan Akins being here next year.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, we could. Um,
but it's
but
our fourth, fifth straight year drafting a tight end in the third
yeah,
round.
I honestly haven't watched a lot of tight ends this year just for that reason. Yet at least I probably will get around to it later. I'm looking at these names. You
I'm
see someone
liking
like
some of these safeties from Georgia.
Tyke Smith, but he's got injury issues.
Hmm.
He was actually a converted cornerback, I believe, from West Virginia this last year. Unless I'm thinking of the other safety.
Let me see. Let's look at Tyreek Smith. Doesn't say if he's injured. Let's look at the other guy.
Like I said earlier, Demario Novashone is there, and I don't know if he would play the same position as Smith. He could maybe play Mike, but either way, I mean especially for our defensive system, the Will and the Sam have similar responsibilities, especially in coverage. You just need the better tackler at the Will, I would think.
Yeah.
But
I
I
mean,
don't
in
have.
this system, we need linebackers regardless. We have multiple ones. Like I
Yeah,
really
yeah,
like Neville Hewitt, an underrated linebacker that we have.
yeah,
But
yeah.
how you feel about Crew J Hill, man? It looks like we got a player in him.
Yeah, he's a little bit older, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't think he's a long term thing. But if you say you don't go linebackers, he can be another stopgap guy for you.
Yeah, here, the safety from, Georgia, Tyke Smith, we talked about him.
There, you got Noah
See,
Daniels. Scroll down a little bit. This is where I start, like, scrolling down. Kobe Bryant's interesting. Josh Joby's another interesting guy. From
well,
Alabama.
I wouldn't mind, the Tyler Davis, another defensive lineman.
Hmm. I don't want to sound biased, but Jalen Pitre is one of those tweener guys. He's like a what do you call it? A DB linebacker mix. He's not
Prototype
that big.
safety.
Just yeah, he plays some safety as well. But he, one of those guys for. I don't know if you noticed it, but the star position that's becoming more prominent in the NFL, we saw Jalen Ramsey and Marlon Humphrey do it a little bit this year. He's
Hmm.
about the same size as those guys. I wouldn't put him as an outside corner or anything like that. But one of those guys on defense that's just a tweener, like who's the guy from Carolina that's like that safety linebacker mix that was drafted a couple years ago?
Oh, I thought
Um,
I thought you were talking about Hassan Reddick. No, not Hassan Reddick. Let me
no,
see.
no, no. I'm blanking on his name.
Give me a second. I'm
I,
looking it up.
I just heard it. I just heard it earlier. But
He's a
anyways,
linebacker.
I think he's playing safety for him this year, but he was a linebacker last year. Anyways, but he plays good coverage when he's asked to do that, which he's asked to do that a little bit more this year than he was last year, if I'm not mistaken. But Baylor loves blitzing him, and he's good at it.
Hmm.
So he's physical for his size. He's always around the ball. Probably in the running, if not the leader for the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year this year. So I don't mind that pick. But what are you thinking here?
Well, I mean, Cody. I mean, we haven't had you in a long time, man. I don't mind going with your guy. I have another question though. When is your cousin available?
So he will be. I'm like 85% sure he's gonna stay another year
Uh huh.
because I don't know if you saw my tweet, but there is about 4,000 prospects coming out this year
Yes, and
because
I
of all
was
the
just
COVID.
about to ask you that. Like a lot of the people don't know what's really going on in college football. Please explain that because you had another great take on it.
So all the COVID year last year, right? So all the seniors, or really anybody, all the players got an extra year because they didn't count the COVID year against the typical 4 to 5 years that you can play college football. You get 5 years if you redshirt and 4 years if you're a true freshman or whatever. You don't redshirt. Well, what the COVID year did was just completely knock that year out. If you wanted to go, you could. If you wanted to stay, you could. So they had just what I think there's about 130 D1 schools that can have 85 scholarship players a year. So that's like 18,000 players. So the typical draft is 2,000 roughly that come out each year,
Hmm.
2,000 players. Well, because that COVID year and all those seniors stayed, and all those guys that were 2 years out that are now 3 years out that can leave early that are good enough to do that are all leaving at the same time. So there's just a double the amount of players that are going to be in this draft. So he's taking that very much into account. I think he's going to stay his extra year.
And where do you project he'll go next year?
It's tough to say. If he has another year like this year, mid round, second, third, he's only let up about 3 pressures and 0 sacks on the season. So
I mean, you never know. We might be looking for a left tackle pretty soon. But as we look at, our potential mock draft, Aidan Hutchinson, Tyler Lindenbaum, Jameson Williams, Brandon Smith, Isaiah Spiller, DeMarvin Overshown, and Jalen Pitre. How would you feel the Houston Texans rolled this out and said, this is our top, our next potential future in the top 100
I
players.
like that. You get building blocks. Like I said, we don't really, people might be upset that we didn't get a corner in this draft.
Yeah, I was looking at that right here.
But you're not going to fix everything in one draft, especially the team that Bill O'Brien left. You're not going to fix this all in one draft. So I like it as building blocks. You address the fronts is really what I like. The D line and the offensive line you address because that's where everything starts, right? And then you get some linebackers to fill in behind them, a safety linebacker corner mix, slot mix. I mean, and then another wide receiver weapon for whoever the quarterback's going to be. I do like this draft a lot.
I do too. And if it's at 21, I don't know how you don't take Jordan Davis if he's there. Everyone thought
Yeah,
he was 26.
yeah. Well, that was Google's fault because they literally listed him at 26 years old. They got him confused with the player that used to play for Georgia that had the same name.
And he was
So
falling.
yeah,
Because
so
I was thinking, I'm like, this dude's gonna be 31 by the time his rookie contract is up. He sums
yeah.
it up. He's 22 years old. I think the potential thought of having an Aidan Hutchinson alongside with getting a Jordan Davis potentially, that's insane, dude.
Dude, yeah, and I don't want people to get confused because he's not really like a crazy pass rusher. He's not going to be like your Aaron Donald, but dude, the
Run
stuff he can
stopper.
do in the run game and freeing up linebackers and taking off pressure off if it's whoever's the three tech, whoever's on the edge next to him is just going to be absolutely insane. He just go watch his film. He literally bodied three offensive linemen at once. He's a monster. You don't see dudes come out like him come out very often.
I really do think the Texans can fix their defense. Well, begin the process of the
Yeah.
defense. There's good edge players. We're gonna have a chance at Kavan, Kavan or Aiden Hutchinson potentially. You know, gonna have a shot at someone like Jordan Davis. All those corners, Stingley, Eli, Sauce Gardner. This is, I think, a potential very stacked, heavily defense that the Houston Texans could get. But before we let you go, Cody, I think next time, hopefully next week, we run this with the potential of another team getting Deshaun Watson. Because at the end of the season, I do think a lot of teams are going to try to make their case and say, look, I know you're all Miami, but look at what we can offer.
Right. Hopefully, the biggest thing is just his damn trade clause. He's got to be willing to want to go to whatever place that is at this point. So until he opens that up, But if Miami doesn't want him, he's gonna have to. So we'll
How you feel
see.
about Jalen Hurts, potentially a Houston Texan?
I don't know. And he's been solid this season, and then last week he threw like 3 interceptions in a game. I didn't really care for him at Oklahoma. I know he did good, but all Oklahoma quarterbacks have been good up until Spencer Rattler. So um, we'll see. We'll see a little bit more from him in the season. It could
Mhm.
be interesting.
Any potential candidates that you like as head coach if we fire David Culley?
Man, I haven't even looked back at that. If we go back to names like last year, Brian Dabble.
That's
I'm
what I've
sorry if
been
I said
thinking
that
too.
wrong. Looks like a good name. I'm not overly convinced we fire Cully this year. I do think someone will go though. There's going to have to be a scapegoat, and then that would probably be Tim Kelly in my opinion. But we'll see how it goes from there.
Well, Cody, it's been a fire mock draft. Thank you for coming on, bro. Hopefully, we'll be able to do this soon.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you having me on.